Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the sternum bone, which is that bone, yeah? And you see cartilage. That is which is article with ribs. That's sternum bone. A sternum bone has two portions, yeah? The top is manubrium, and in the manubrium you see jugular notch. You see, I'm pointing jugular notch. And then I'm pointing clavicular notch, which is two notch, which is like two clavicle or collarbone articulation. Jugular notch and clavicular notch. And then you see the body. That's the body. And xiphoid process. That's the xiphoid process. Yeah, I'm pointing to xiphoid process. That's it. This is the sternum bone. Let's talk about rib bone. The rib bone has the body, and then the curve is angle, and two sides, which is one side is called vertebral side, which is this one, and one side is called sternal side. That's a sternal end, vertebral end, and angle. That's it. Yeah. Okay. We finished. Let's talk about the vertebra. Vertebra means the backbone, which is connected to our rib bone with the sternum and making the cage. Yeah? Okay, let's talk about the vertebra. Vertebra has many, 5 divisions, which is cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and sacral, and sacrum. Let's talk about each division has bones, yeah, which is 7 in the cervical. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 vertebral bone. The first in cervical, I'm talking the cervical region. The first cervical region is called atlas. This is the atlas bone. And before we go over, let's talk about their, they are sharing the structure, like for example, they have body, yeah, they have process, and they have big foramen vertebra in the middle. Let's talk about the atlas. The atlas has vertebral foramen in the middle. They all have vertebral foramen. You can see it, yeah? Vertebral foramen. This is vertebral foramen. The cervical bone is different from the thoracic bone because they have transverse foramen in the side. Okay? Transverse foramen. 1, 2. Okay? And that's the body for atlas bone. And this is articulation which is atlas bone articulate, which atlas with axis. Yeah, this is the axis bone. Okay, the axis bone has important dents. It's called dents, or also called odontoid process, which is you see here. Odontoid process is articulate with atlas bone. Okay, which is if I hold it, you can see. That's why you turn your head, right and left. Yeah. See the odontoid? Yes. Okay. This is the articulation, and that's the body. Okay. Let's talk about the atlas. And let's talk about the sharing that they all have the superior articulation and inferior articulation. All these vertebrae they have. Okay. This is the superior articulation. Yeah? Superior articulation. And then spinous process. And then transverse process. And you see foramen transverse. The foramen transverse, you don't see it in thoracic and lumbar, but only in cervical. You see it. Yeah? Cervical. That's the transverse foramen, that's vertebral foramen. And articulation, superior and inferior. Okay? And atlas axis also has odontic superior articulation, inferior articulation. Okay? Transverse foramen, spinous process, and transverse spinous. Okay, this is about, they all have the same thing. This is all 7 cervical vertebra. Okay? Let's talk about the thoracic. The thoracic is different from cervical. You don't see the transverse foramen, but you see vertebral foramen, you see articulation superior and inferior, and you see body. That's the body of vertebra, okay? And then you see the lamina, 2 hallway, the 2 sides, and then pointy process, spinous process. And you can, of course, you see transverse process, yeah? What is the different from, why this process has different from structure from the cervical? You see the pedicles. This is the pedicle, which is, you see here, yeah, the green, that's the pedicle of vertebra. The pedicle you see in the thoracic. And also you see demifacet, which is there. That demifacet is because of the ribs is articulation, has articulation with demifacet. This demifacet you don't see in the cervical, you don't see in the lumbar, but only you see in the cervical. Okay, that's the demifacet. Okay, let's talk about lumbar. How you know this is lumbar? First of all, lumbar has big body. That's the body of vertebra. And then foramen, vertebra, spinous process, transverse process, lamina, and articulation, superior and inferior. You see? Inferior and superior articulation belong to that vertebra. Okay? We done with all this vertebra, which is 5 of them. We have only 1 right now. Okay? Let's talk about the sacral bone. That's the sacral bone. The sacral bone is like, when you see the bone is like triangle. Okay? And has anterior structure and anterior side and posterior side. Okay? Mean dorsal, ventral. Okay? Now let's see on the ventral side. You see like a big mass, like a, if I hold it, it's a big mass. This is called lateral mass, which is the 2 coxal bones articulated. Okay? And then you see superior articulation. This is superior articulation, which is the lumbar bone is articulate. Yeah, see? Yeah, that's superior articulation of the lumbar, but this is inferior articulation, which is this one. See this inferior is so perfectly fit. Okay, like that. Okay, that's the superior articulation process. Vertebral canals. Now this is vertebral canals. Okay, vertebral canals. I'm pointing. Okay. Remember one thing. The sacral bone has 5 bones synosted together or fused together to make sacral bone. Okay. Now, in the middle of the sacral bone, you see crest. These are called sacral crest. The middle sacral crest and lateral sacral crest. Okay, these are lateral sacral crest, and this is middle sacral crest. Remember, the middle sacral crest is because of the spinous, yeah? They are fused, spinous. The five vertebra is fused together to make that. That's because of this spinous, okay? Okay. Sacral hiatus, this one, yeah? Sacral hiatus. Okay. And then sacral corona is like a crown. See here? corner. Okay. And then sacral foramen. There are two kinds of foramen, from outside and from inside. Okay, these are sacral foramen, two sides. And it's called dorsal, and these are dorsal because this is the back of the sacral, and this is the ventral. Yeah, this is the back. That's why it's called dorsal sacral foramen, and then ventral sacral foramen, two sides, ventral. Okay. Now, sacral promontory, that we sit on it, yeah, this is called sacral promontory. You sit, when you sit on the chair, that's sacral promontory. Okay, that's it. The coccyx bone, we are cross it because very small, tiny tailbone. We don't have it, but every one of us has it. It's made of 4 or 3 bones, okay? That's it.